inside their own base, not even needing a tower, not even needing a creep wave. And GG, Na'Vi will break the DreamLeague curse and take for the first time ever their title. Seconds until the creep spawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. I'm your host, Bruno, and this is week 7 of the competition. A week so good that we should call it strong instead. And if you don't believe me, check out the games. First, we started with El Clásico Alliance versus Na'Vi. I'm sorry for that bad joke, but I had to do it anyways because we rehearsed that in the car. After that, moving on, we have Europe East super matchup between Empire and Virtus.pro. Empire, they're probably the strongest team right now, but Virtus.pro, they've defeated Alliance before, so maybe they can do this as well. And finally, Team Liquid versus CG, another North American classic, or another classic, this time North American, I might say. We'll see who ends up victorious out of this. So this amazing day is just the start of a 3-day week, second to last of the tournament. And it couldn't be possible without our sponsors, so if you guys can go and thank ASUS ROG in search of the incredible and Rocket, the guys that set the rules, just go to their Facebook pages, facebook.com/Rocket and facebook.com/ROG Nordic. Go there, tell them they're awesome, that you want more Dream Leagues, and we'll be here. Most importantly, I couldn't be here by myself alone because I'm really boring sometimes, but I do have an array of very interesting people with me. Hi guys, how's it going?
What's cracking, Bruno?
My knuckles.
Every time.
Every time. I don't have any other.
We practiced that in the car too.
I don't have any other reply. Like, what else can be cracking? Like, it could be my bones, but
it's
I don't
just like,
break
what's cracking? It's just like, how you doing?
Yeah,
you
what's
know?
up? How are you doing?
It's just like, people say hi to me, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? You know?
What's
it's
up?
Like it's a term of endearment. It's like, hey, what's going on, man?
I don't know. What's up?
How are
my
you?
thumbs.
Well, now they are.
Yeah.
But they weren't up before.
Anyways, how you doing?
I'm good. By the way, we called the Na'Vi Alliance game El Clásico on the kickoff season as well.
Yes.
I feel like we need to.
No, I think it's like, you know when you're trying like too hard to make a thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening with DreamHack. They're sponsored. They are advertising it everywhere as El Clásico. So I'm just like going with it.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, someone that was not here during the kickoff season and now is here with us. It's Lumi. How's it going, man?
I regret being here.
Whoa.
I worked for the last 2 weeks straight, no break. But yeah, I'm doing great.
You seem so happy about it. You're always like, no, I want to work.
Nah, there's like, if there's work left be undone, I just feel bad.
Welcome to my
He's
world,
like the
Lumi.
pack mule. He just takes everyone else's work and he's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
We love you for it, though.
But now you're...
Maybe.
Yeah, like you have some more company right now right here, and you've been eating very well these last couple of days.
I feel bloated every day. Like I'm eating too well. I need to scale back. Yeah.
Singh does not let anyone go to bed hungry, man.
No.
She's
like
awesome.
I walked in the kitchen, I'd been awake for like 5 minutes, and she's like, do you want some breakfast? I'm like, dear God, I just got out of bed. Like I can't even think about eating right now. I mean, she's like ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
She even bought hand soap. We didn't even have hand soap in the kitchen. She bought it. I was like, that's so sweet. It's ridiculous. Like.
Hands up, man. It changes
Way
everything.
to a man's heart.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, apparently, James couldn't come today because he was feeling a little bit under the weather, which happens normally, especially
kittens.
when you have 10 kittens in your house and
In
they're
your
all
room.
meowing at you in your room. So he didn't get much sleep. He is probably going to be back here tomorrow, assuming he can get some sleep today. We had to hide the cats in his room because the cleaners were coming and they don't know we have 10 kittens, of course. And if they know, they would tell the landlady and they would kick us out of that. Don't tell the landlady.
What if the cleaners watch DreamHack
Or the landlady.
or the landlady?
I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm not the only one who found irony in him just saying exactly what we did to
Yeah.
avoid getting kicked out of our house and breaking the terms in the lease.
I mean, well, like, I trust people. They're not
All
going
right.
to tell.
Okay. She's gonna find out eventually because they grow up.
Yeah, they grow up and
Well,
you
we
can't
weren't
kill
supposed to have any animals at all. And then we had Mingles, and the Mingles had 3 kittens, and those 3 kittens turned into 10 kittens. Well, 11. R.I.P. Casper.
them.
But
Yeah.
10
But
kittens.
yeah, anyways, since James is not here and I'm kind of like taking his role, Shane is going to take control of the Twitter.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Twitter question of the day or the Twitter discussion of the day is actually something that I started before and which was like a bit of a discussion. It's like, what if Aghanim Scepter could change a spell that you have
Like
and change it to something different that would change the hero and the way the hero is played? So our friend Reflexy,
I read that tweet. It was awesome.
he had a really good idea. That silencer, you know, when you press the silence, it's just silence and everyone's muted. Instead of saying that, when you get the acceptor, it says, let's talk about it. And suddenly the spells have no cooldown, so everyone can like shoot whatever they want
it
for
turns
5
into
seconds.
WTF mode, basically.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
For 5
Sounds
seconds.
balanced.
Sounds totally balanced. So if you have any ideas, let us know at DreamLeague or hashtag DreamLeague. You just say what you think would be cool and Shane will read it and
Okay.
we will have a laugh.
Well,
at it.
the example you were giving is just complete opposites, right? But you're saying it could just be different.
It could be different.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be an opposite.
Opposite, yeah.
It doesn't have to be an opposite.
So you were saying like turn Laguna Blade to a AoE Laguna
Yeah, like
Blade?
Dragon Slave. But then I was like, it's
That's
plain because it's basically
Sonic Wave.
Sonic Wave. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'm not that creative.
Yeah, I was saying like Poison Nova instead of damaging over time, heals over time to your allies. So
What
it's-
about if Scream of Pain from Queen of Pain, after she does it, you can't hear anything in game for the rest of the game because you're deaf.
Okay.
But is this just an Aghanim's change?
Yeah, yeah. You just
Okay.
can't hear it. No audio at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Wait,
that
do we-
could actually mess with you, though. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
what if
Yeah.
the other team just builds 5 Shadow Blades because
So
their
this is
Queen of
like,
Pain
yeah,
has-
you can't hear them coming.
has
Or like
eggs.
the Ursa can do Roche or the Lycan.
Yeah.
You can hear the howl, you can hear the roar.
What a counter.
What a counter.
When we were making that change log, every 30 seconds, Bruno says
Yeah.
Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah.
And I think that by far the best one that we came up with was for Keeper of Light, where you get to have global illuminates. It
it goes map wide. It just goes in a
It's like,
straight line all the way across.
Go, horses.
It's like if you timed it right, you could hit like 2 full creep waves in the
Yeah.
same lane.
And the whole
and on the
jungle.
heroes.
Right, yeah.
And the fountain.
In the fight.
It's fun.
Pretty legit. I mean, instead of having Sunstrike,
balance.
you just throw it there. But yeah, so that's the Twitter question of the day. Just go, as I said before, at DreamLeague or hashtag DreamLeague. They will read it. So we had an interesting last week. We had a lot of matches. Unfortunately, the last day, we didn't have the final match of the day, which was Navi versus Sigma, because Sigma couldn't have a full team, a full roster. If you're not aware of the situation, Sigma and Team Dog are kind of merging. So they're like Fata and Pass are playing normally with the guys from Dog instead of Smulgulig and Fogged.
Fucked, yeah.
So the way this works with the Dream League is that they're still 2 separate teams, so they have to play their commitments until the end of the league. Because of course there's like everyone here gets money, at least $5,000 for playing. So you have to fulfill your commitments. So they're still going to play as 2 different teams. I don't know if they'll be using standings, probably they will. But Sigma couldn't get a full team last week versus Navi, so Navi got the default win. But we did have 2 amazing games, and we're going to talk about them right now while we see what happened. So here they are. First we had Empire versus EG. Do you guys remember what happened? Because otherwise I can't tell you.
Well, I mean, we don't have to say that we do or don't remember. We can just cheat
Right.
and watch the game, and then hopefully the memories of the game will come back to us.
Slowly.
I got
Or
nothing.
maybe there's a song, right?
I mean, it
this-
was such a long time ago. This was the day where there were 2 Lycan Nagas picked back
Yep.
to back,
Yes.
correct? And then
Yes.
like one game, the Lycan won, and then the other game, the Naga Siren won. One was Arteezy, and then one, I think it was Cloud9, right?
Yeah,
Picked
in
the
both
other game
cases
as well?
actually Arteezy lost.
Yeah.
So this is the
So-
one that Arteezy was playing the Naga side, and he was doing the right thing, right? You get the Radiance and you just try pushing everything, but the Lycan and all those Necrobooks,
He had a 14-minute radiance as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think this game is not really about the Naga, even though she was a big part of the game. I think Andy and I were talking about how the two supports did well in the lane. I think they got them a very early tier 1 tower with their Darkseer, Jakiro, and Rubik
You're
Tri-Lane.
talking about EG.
EG.
Yeah.
They control the lane. They got multiple ganks. Silent had no farm at 8 minutes in, like Boots and something like that. But eventually, the supports really scaled off. Weren't able to do anything to the Lycan, and then that's how the game ended.
Yeah,
There was that one really big turnaround kill as well, bottom, where they got like a kill on one of the heroes that were down there, and then the supports immediately rotated top and like got another kill, and then Silent had what, like 5 or 6 minutes straight where he was completely untouched and he was able to recover quite fast.
You got a Midas.
And
Yeah, late
Lycan,
Midas,
Lycan has that effect, right? Like as soon as you get like anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes alone, you just become power. And they also had a DK and I want to say Avenge as well, right? And they just had like this mass.
They had a TK and they
did have Avenge, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just like hallucinating or
No,
something?
you're not.
Okay. So the thing with me is I really love DK just against Lycan in general because there's not that many heroes who have a stun duration that's that long.
Right.
Like DK stuns 3.75 seconds as a single target stun at max rank, which is longer than like any other stun in the game that's not an ulti. I mean, of course, they have like Fiend's Grip and stuff like that, but he also doesn't really care about Ensnare because he can go Dragon form, and Dragon Tail now actually increases the range that you get. So it's not a melee stun when you're in ult form. So I think he's just really solid all around for being a hero who can TP to towers and not just get eaten alive. You know?
Yeah. So that's pretty much a recap of game 1. Game 2 was, as they said, kind of a similar tune in the sense that there was again a Lycan versus a Naga Siren, but this time it was Cloud9 versus EG. And the game went exactly like this.
Pretty much perfect. I thought it was James.
Great. So yes, here you see it's Eternal Envy in the Naga Siren, and he's going to get initiated upon at the beginning. There's a good rotation from the supports. Clock is coming there. He gets the kill. He helps PPD gets the kill here.
The bottle comes in, he saves him.
Yeah. And actually, that's true. That's true. This is actually when Eternal Envy turns around and gets a double kill. Yeah. That's correct. Of course, having the Dire means that you have the Roshan advantage, but when
they get trapped
when you get stuck.
Yeah, it's like, uh-oh.
And it's like, okay, we have a problem. Beautiful chakram, beautiful arrow.
There was a lot of those that game, by the way.
They were really on point with the sleep arrows. Like, I don't think they missed one.
You can definitely tell that they've practiced those heroes.
Who was it
together.
the other day that was missing like sleep arrows left and right? Do you remember?
It was Envy.
It was Envy?
They missed sleep arrows for combos, and then we had a little talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this game they did it really well.
Yeah. After the talk. It was
and by the way, it's Dragon Tail's 3.25 seconds. We just looked it up. Because I thought 3.75 sounded long.
3.75 is Shackle Shot, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's
that's Shackle Shot onto 2 heroes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but Dragon Tail's 3.25.
Yeah, and well, that was kind of the game. EG, they were looking really strong. They were 4-2. Like they had the possibility to go 6-2 and go very well, but sorry, 5-2.
Yeah.
And they had the possibility to go 7-2 and just go look at there with maybe close to Empire and Cloud9. Unfortunately, they lost 2, and they're kind of like middle of the pack right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at the standings later, but before going to the standings, we're going to talk a little bit about last week as well. The match we couldn't see was the match with Navi and Sigma, but we did see a lot of Navi last week. And from Navi came the MVP. And who was the MVP last week, guys? Do you remember?
Kuroki.
Kuroki! Let's have it for Kuroki right now.
Still, like Dendi is ranking on the CS chart. Fight. Oh, what a play! Lip into the Centaur Stomp. Lip into the pop up into Stomp. Perfect arrow to the face. Okay. Panic. No, living armor. Change. We're just naming shit now. We're just like, change jump. Pinch, you said.
But the MVP, we actually don't talk.
Overgrowth. Roche is low, the Centaur Stomp not gonna hit. Havos is just out in the trees, he knows what's up. Meanwhile, the BCC going for the trees. Please get the Aegis BCC. Aegis now. He's got side of face. It's fine. Kuroki coming back in. Denny's low. Aegis gonna get popped solo in the middle of everything. The Serum Chain's gonna be online. Side of face. Stolen overgrowth. Yeah, Kuroki's playing pretty well. Meanwhile, the Blinkster's gonna come in. I think they're reserving the snap. Oh, nice glimpse here. That's going to be back to the tower. Hovos, they need a grave on him ASAP. Here comes a heal. He's all right. Stampede has not been used yet. Link, not level 6 just yet. Stampede's going to get him now, just not quickly enough. Hovos still alive thanks to the grave. He's healed back up as well. He's going to be alive still. Crit, where's the right click? Soul Assumption is going to clean things up, but that's a 3 for 1 so far. This Unicorn has the best triggers of the live tower, not really doing anything against that refraction. Couple more right click that weave.
Yeah, so there we had it. It was a pretty amazing performance, I think, from everyone at Navi, but Kuroki was there really on point. Just like in that first game where all the center stomps were just ready from his lift, he was initiating perfectly. And that second game, the fact that they had Hubos being the target all the time meant that, yeah, Hubos died a lot. But every single time was Kuroki and Puppy picking up the pieces. They made it so killing Hubos, which was something that should be done in 3 or 4 seconds with the amount of damage that the opponent had, was something that took them 10 to 11.
Yeah, and then when you got the 4 stuff as well. It was
Yeah,
just like
and then Hubos goes for the very, very unusual 4 stuff on Luna. And
situational item.
situational, is it, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Space creating.
He
item.
created space, yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Kuroki, for being the MVP of the week, and congratulations, Navi, for doing so well recently. And now, yes, we can actually go into the standings and take a look at what's going on. So Cloud9, Lumi on top, like.
Why are you just like?
Because you're the Cloud9 fanboy here.
I'm not
the
a fanboy.
I am the Empire fanboy, and they're 7-1.
Fair enough.
And Shane is the Alliance fanboy.
Team Dog as well.
Okay, and Team Dog, and they're 6-2, all of them.
Andy, do you have a
Andy,
team?
Go on.
I'm a Fnatic fanboy.
you're a Fnatic fanboy,
Yeah.
not doing so well. But if you look at this table, like the loss column, up to the 5th, everyone is like 1 or 2 losses.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, 5th through probably what, like 9th, 10th place, they can all actually go to the top 6, basically.
EG feels like if they lose more matches, they can drop, and maybe ROG, Skis, Fnatic, or even Liquid and Virtus Pro can pick up the pieces. Meteor Makers are totally out of this. There's no way they can make it. Even if they win 4, they will be 4 and 10, and there's no way all the other teams.
What if everyone loses all their games?
No, it's
I know it's not possible, but I was just...
No, even if it happened, even if everyone lost, like no one
somehow-
showed up,
Yeah, no one.
they will still.
Poor MYM.
Yeah, MYM.
Can they get to 7th?
Yeah, they
no.
could get to 7.
Yeah, they could get to 7.
No,
They
there.
have 4 matches left to play.
Go for 7th, lads.
Go for 7 slot. It's the same if you get 7 or 12. Doesn't change as much. But actually, the important thing here for Sigma and Meteor Makers is that the team at the bottom will be relegated. I don't know what's going to happen since Sigma is actually getting disbanded or like changing to Dog. It's probably MYM. I think will survive this.
Okay. But it's
Survive by being last place.
Survive
Yes.
being last place and not losing a single match,
So
not
then,
winning a single match.
I have a question then, because like we were looking at the recent Alliance games. Like, this is a segue, take it if you want. But we were talking about how they're playing under Sigma still,
Yeah.
even though they're not really Sigma.
Well, there's Sigma got Team Dog. Like Sigma absorbed Team
But
Dog.
it's Dogma. It's not Sigma,
People call it Dogma,
which is
But
way
it's-
cooler, by the way.
Yeah. So
awesome movie as well.
Yeah.
it's a fun movie. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, both great friends. Really worth watching. Lumi, one that you might want to watch someday in the future.
There's a long list, man.
But what you want to watch is not Sigma, it's not Dogma, it's actually Alliance versus Navi. And it's going to start in a bit. So let's introduce the players first from Alliance, I think. I don't even know.
Close.
But, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, good. I was like, clearly not EG. But yeah, Alliance, they're 3rd in the competition. They just won a game versus Empire. Very important game because that means they will be going to China to play in WPCAs.
They didn't just win either. They rolled.
Annihilated them.
23-minute game or something like that.
But at the same time, Alliance has not been doing really well recently.
75% win rate's not bad.
In the league.
Yeah.
But outside of the league, I was actually taking a look. Yeah, they have been trading games pretty evenly with Dogma, the new Dogma. So they lost 2 and won 1. Before this, they lost to to Alliance. To Empire.
Yep.
In D2CL, a 3-1 best of 5 game for the 3rd place. And I mean, they're not playing badly, and they're losing to arguably the best teams in the scene. But I don't know. It's not the Alliance from TI3 that you say, oh, they can definitely beat Navi. Navi, on the other hand, we're going to see that team right now.
Could
They're
you
actually-
say they could definitely beat them at the international? I don't know. Them games are pretty close. That's why.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
The thing
It
is,
was
Alliance were like ridiculous throughout the entire
Yeah, they won
tournament.
everything.
And Na'Vi were kind of like the typical Na'Vi where they come to LAN and all of a sudden it's like, okay, they're like really good on LAN. I always forget how good they are on LAN. And then it's like, I don't know, man, Alliance still look really good. And then Na'Vi take it to like a game 5. So
Yeah, so that was pretty impressive.
That game.
But however, Navi versus Alliance, who has the edge, Lumi?
Well, you were saying this, quoting from Puppy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the heroes. It doesn't matter about the patch or anything else. Puppy thinks the team that communicates the best and interacts with each other the best wins.
Mm-hmm.
So, Navi,
Navi.
because they've been doing that for the
Yeah.
past couple of weeks, and Alliance haven't shown that at all. That Alliance series against Empire looked pretty bad for Alliance. They
Yeah.
just got outplayed all 4 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, even the game they won.
Yeah, they got outplayed.
And Navi versus Alliance, they met each other for the semifinals of D2CL as well.
Mhm.
And Navi won that. I mean, yes, it was in 5 games, but they still took that. And before that, they took their Star Ladder match between each other. And this is going to be the only time they play in the DreamLeague because they're in separate divisions, so you only get 1 match each. But it's all been about Navi in the past 2 months when they're playing against each other.
Yeah.
So it's going to see if something different is going to happen right now. I guess the game has started already.
Yep.
So guys, any final thoughts before actually going into the game?
I'm just ready, man. My body's ready. Alliance, Na'Vi, let's do it.
Is your body ready, Lumi?
Yes, it's been ready for the past 2 weeks, non-stop.
My belly's ready.
Nice.
I can't wait.
You're going to pick Doom and eat some creeps?
Yeah, man.
Great. Okay, with that being said, let's go into the game. It's going to be Navi versus Alliance. Good luck to both teams.
All right, so first game of the day, Alliance, Na'Vi. I don't really think you could have a better starting game, honestly.
No.
And I really like the way that Na'Vi have actually opened this up so far. They start off with a Dazzle, they get a Nyx Assassin. Alliance, they've secured themselves a Bat Rider and a Chen. So I think for Alliance, having 2 early picks like that kind of says, well, we obviously want to have some semblance of control of the map, right? Like you don't pick a Chen and a Bat without wanting to try to force some kind of an issue. Maybe go for early ganks on mid, maybe try to get an early tower at some point. But in general, Alliance are a team who I feel they play the best when they're allowed to play greedy. But
agree with that.
I also think that there are times when if S4 gets a hero like Bat Rider, they can actually change their dynamic pretty well, you know, and go from a team that's known for not necessarily passivity, but like I said, greedy play, and then change it into just high aggression and maybe even be able to swing it out with a team like Na'Vi.
We've seen Bulldog play Bat Rider recently as well. They actually, I think the last time we did it, they drafted Bat Rider like very early again. And then the other team started banning out Admiral Bulldog heroes, and then they just gave it to Admiral Bulldog right at the end of the draft.
And
It
typically,
almost feels like, sorry Andy, cut you off real fast. What do you think, which Bat Rider is more successful, the solo mid variant or the offlane variant?
that's a hard question. I think it's really dependent on the lanes. Because, say for instance, you're a Bat Rider solo mid, and you're against, well, anything that you can beat, basically, which is a wide array of heroes on Bat Rider. Like, you beat a lot of things. And the lanes are static. Then the Bat Rider, I think, does really well because he's able to pretty much get free farm in his lane. He have decent root control, like not the best, but he might get like every other one, basically, say like 50%. And then you can go kill the jungle whenever you want if you have like a safe laner like stacking for you. So in that sense, I think it's pretty hard for him to do poorly. But I also think that he offers a lot in the off lane because you can still do jungle stacking, but you're not necessarily going to have as good of a laning phase. But if the other team, you manage to get like a 1v1 in an off lane, then it's pretty much the same thing as being mid, in my opinion. You're pretty much getting the same. So
Except the ring control.
yeah, I think it's a lot to do with what particular lanes you have to deal with as Bat. But I think in most games, he's just strong, like in general.
Yeah, this game looks like he's going to be up against Nyx Assassin, who is going to be annoying, especially once Nyx gets his Blink Dagger as a way to blink into the fire, or even walk in the fire and pop that Spike Carapace. So I feel that, you know, Bat Rider is going to have some of his work cut out for him. But we see this matchup quite often, Nyx versus Bat Rider.
I think there's not often you see a Bat Rider without a Nyx being picked.
Yeah, as a counter.
Yeah, that's one thing that the new drafting phase has given us is the fact that most of the time you would be able to pick those heroes together, you know? Just be like, okay, well, we want the Nyx and the Bat just so they can't Nyx our Bat Rider, which is actually insanely annoying when you try to initiate, because sometimes you just have to like not use Firefly at all and just blink in without using the flying vision from Firefly and just hope that you get somebody and don't get caught. So
Rubik's pretty good against Bat Rider as well, and Earthshaker.
yeah, Cloud9 love their Earthshaker against Bat Rider teams. They always just have like Pilot Dice sitting like 4 screens away, and he's like, haha, you can't
Or
mess
the
with my
Wisp.
teammates anymore.
Also the Wisp against the Bat Rider, where they would just like relocate immediately next, just to break the lasso.
Next level stuff.
That's a bit harder to execute, but yeah, it is good.
The thing about that is that because it doesn't matter how magic immune the Bat is, you don't need to target the Bat at all.
Yeah, you target your own hero.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
yeah.
when they're lasso, they are very targetable by your own guys. But yeah, actually, we're going to see an Enigma draft coming out. Puppy really likes his Enigmas. And judging from the fact that so far the two supports don't really have a true stun. I'm not counting Centaur from Chen as a stun because, you know,
Trolls.
or trolls. I guess if, you know, Chen's prepared enough. But generally, when the fight breaks out, those stuns are either expended or the creeps die. And that generally will set up a very good black hole for Enigma. But the way that Puppy plays his Enigma is that he doesn't even black hole much. Like, he goes through 20-something minutes of gameplay and not black hole at all. So what he utilizes Enigma is generally for early game pushing, rushing a quick mech, or maybe getting some, you know, utility items for the team.
That's the threat of the black hole. You're afraid.
The threat, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, the kind of mind games you can play with people when you have an Enigma on your team. The thing is, it used to be really common to go blink first and just be able to blink black hole, but it's a lot more normal now to see people just go straight mech because he's a hero who farms so unbelievably fast that you can have a mech at like 9 or 10 minutes pretty easily, and that's like on top of a soul ring. So not many heroes can offer that, and it allows you to get very, very quick tier 1s. And Alliance right now, their deep push basically consists of a Rubik Fade Bolt and a Bat Rider Firefly.
And wards.
That's pretty much it.
Wards.
Most importantly, where does the damage come from Alliance?
Right now?
Venomancer.
Acceptor Venom, man.
Yeah.
Accepter Venom?
No,
But if it's Bruno's Acceptor, then it heals people.
Ah.
Doesn't do any damage.
That sounds awful.
then you don't get the Acceptor. But yeah, we've seen a lot of carry Venomancer or quick farming Venomancer. It just hasn't been working. It feels like every time teams are picking it, they just lose. Do we have a stat on that, like carry Venomancer? Aside from
I don't
just like,
think it can differentiate between item builds.
No,
okay.
What about a Rubik Acceptor?
Actually, if you give me some minutes, I can check.
Give
But
them
just
Fade
go
Bolt or
like-
something instead of their spell.
That would be like game breaking though. Like, say you had a Bat Rider, and it gives it to you in the ult spot, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
So instead of having Flaming Lasso, you just have Fade Bolt for an ulti. Like, how awful would that be? I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to play that game. But I mean, Na'Vi, they're going with a lineup that has, I would say, not better pushing potential, but it has enough to threaten Alliance and maybe force some kind of reaction. Because I think one of the worst things that you can do against a Chen is have a lineup that's too passive and doesn't necessarily have any roaming potential. And on top of that, also can't kill any early towers. Because you want to be able to do one or the other. If you can't roam, you want to play greedy and try to go for a tower or just farm effectively. But if you can't do either of those, then you hope you can roam, you know.
But it seems like Na'Vi could do both, right?
Yeah, I mean, they could. I think roaming Nyx is kind of hard because Impale, while it's a stun, it's not a great level 1 stun. It scales like 0.5 seconds per rank.
Oh, you're talking about roaming before level 6?
Yeah.
Okay, early game roams.
Yeah, because we're assuming, I mean, Puppy's going to jungle, could be Ancient's Windrunner here, which would mean that they could offlane Nyx and Ancient Windrunner at the same time, but that would be like really greedy, spreading themselves kind
This
of
looks
thin,
like
I think.
Dendy Windrunner though, no?
Oh yeah,
then
you're right,
in
yeah.
mid. Yeah.
Yeah.
We seen actually, Lions had a sand in the other day, so they put, I think, EGM mid, and EGM played Windrunner mid, and he was just like wrecking hard. But I think the mid Windrunner is actually something that we don't see too often. The thing I'm going to be looking to is whether then he's going to take his ultimate at 6. Because I feel like that's one of the more forgotten buffs of Windrunner. I generally take it at 6 when I play her, but, you know, we'll see what Dendy does.
I don't know. That max level power shot and shackle is pretty.
That's true. You want to max those 2 spells quick.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a very bullshit stat, which is when Venomancer gets more than 400 GPM.
That's okay. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's move
like
on.
they win.
Does his win rate go down?
Well, no, they win 34 out of 40. But like that really doesn't mean anything. Like
That means you knock down a lot of towers and your
right,
supports
exactly.
are rich.
So I mean, I was trying to see if GPM would find some kind of information over how well a Venomancer does in terms of farm. But I mean, it's going to be skewed because if you get lots of gold, you're going to win the game because you're probably owning. So
Yeah.
Or you've already won the game.
exactly.
Just going back to the draft, was Doom banned out?
Yeah.
Okay. By Alliance, I assume.
Nope, Na'Vi.
Okay. That's interesting because it feels like you know that Alliance has to rely on one hypercore carry. It's very easy for you to pick up that Doom and say, hey, there goes your carry.
Yeah, but in the same sense, wouldn't you also say that a hyper carry is very susceptible to Navi's lineup in general and being able to get very early towers and kind of restrict your map control?
Well, I mean, Morphling, I think, is one of the heroes that is actually good against that. Like, he can be the hyper carry, but he also could counter push, or at least not counter push. But let's say if you leave him alone, he could just push your tower. So you always have to force one person up to your wave to at least hold him down.
Yeah, I was playing Morphling yesterday. I was kind of surprised at how much damage he does when you morph like a lot of agility against towers. You push really quickly with the waveforms.
So I actually think that this is a fairly greedy pick, but it's going to work out, I think, for Loda.
All right. Well, Navi, I kind of think that in terms of just sheer fighting potential, I think they're going to have the advantage for a while. Just because having Enigma, like Eidolons, the pure damage that you're going to have from Lunar Blessing, on top of the fact that they do actually have a few disables, like Malefice, Shackle Shot, Impale, it's enough, I think, to be able to secure kills. And Alliance have, I would say, pretty defensive supports, right? Like you have Rubik and Venomancer. Sure, Venomancer has good lane presence, but right now it appears that they're dodging each other. So I think that they're going to try to play it a little bit greedy, but it's going to be hard for them because unlike Navi's lineup where they have a free jungling Enigma, it's S4, Veno.
I think I'm still not muted, which, yeah,
Is
I
it
can
good
hear
thing?
myself. Yeah, no, it's good. I wanted to say something just before the game starts. For the people who are watching on the stream, unfortunately, if you're watching on Dota TV, it doesn't work. But if you're watching on the stream, you will see the DreamLeague HUD in-game.
Yeah.
That's still not in the shop.
Feels like we're just teasing them.
Yeah.
No, well, we wanted to show it to people because, yeah, we just want to make sure that people know that the HUD is there. We're finished. Valve has to actually publish it and give it to everyone else. But yeah, we're going to show that. The other thing that you have to know about this is because the kind of changing from day to night is something that has to be set up at the servers from Valve. There is not going to be any change from day to night in the one that you're seeing in the stream.
So we're just day.
It's just day.
Constant day.
Constant day. So, I mean, just for you people to see it because people wanted to see it and it's really cool. So you have it there.
Okay. They did that thing where they pick Batrider early and then give it the Bulldog.
I was a bit surprised by that, honestly, because I think that Batrider versus Windrunner is still pretty good for the Batrider. And I guess, I mean, offlane Venomancer doesn't sound that great, but I guess we'll have to find out. Maybe S4 can have some big impact here mid. But I think the problem with Veno is that his base damage is pretty low in comparison to what a Windrunner has. And I don't necessarily know if he can even out-harass. Maybe once he starts getting some points in a Poison Sting, he can start trying to trade hits. Or he could just place a ton of wards and maybe try to kill the tier 1 tower.
Every ward he's placed, then he like one-shot it.
Well, I mean, at level 1, that's going to
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
When you get to like level 3 wards, I think, is when they start to get enough health to where they don't just fall over. And you can just start stacking them. And then the Dendi will have to spam Power Shot, which I think is actually less mana efficient than just spamming wards to push the lane in.
It's fun.
So we'll see how he decides to
You
play
think
it.
he's just giving him free farm here by putting wards down?
I mean, the way I see how this lane's developing is that Dendi's been getting a lot of free farm on the wards.
He's got like 12 CS.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
weird.
12 CS, 3 deny. And the problem with this Venomancer lane is that, yeah, sure, he's going to get level 3 and he's going to get stronger wards. But they don't help him last hit that well unless you literally last hit with the wards, which I guess S4 will be doing. I see Dendi just completely outlasting and mostly going to be getting the runes.
15 CS.
Now, some of those CS are on wards.
Yeah,
so
exactly, but it just looks so ridiculous.
I think the crazy part is that, I mean, it's like Havos is at 13 and he doesn't have any wards to farm. He's just farming a lane, man. Nice, he denies the other Plague Ward. What a player. But I think even level 2 wards are quite a bit more durable.
Yeah,
than
you
level
need
1.
4 hits instead of 2 hits to actually kill it, which is already difference enough. You're not going to tank multiple shots and just kill the wards.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Dendi didn't start with a wand this game. Because even if they assumed it was Venomancer mid, actually, I guess if Morphling...
You should be, yeah.
Yeah, if Morphling went mid, then you wouldn't want to
Actually, he might be getting a kill here. Thinking about
not yet.
going up the hill.
Too many wards, man. It's scary shit.
He's got the win run, so...
He's grand.
You guys use that word more than me now.
Ah, it's okay.
Huh, this is a very interesting item choice.
I don't see your name on it, man.
It's an Irish name on it.
It's not your word.
S4 has actually gone for a Ring of Aquila first. Straight up. Turning it on. Just keeping the pressure up. Which, you know, Dendi's going to bottle crow and he's going to spam power shot, so I don't think it's going to matter too much. He might miss a couple of last hits as a result of the armor difference.
But that's the thing about Plague Wards is even if he's spamming power shot, it still is going to keep the lane like relatively pushed in. And eventually he's not going to be able to just sit there and kill them. He's going to have to back up because he's going to get to level 3 wards and then he's going to start getting pressured enough to the point where he's like, okay, I actually can't just sit here anymore. And he finally gets his wand, so that's actually going to help quite a bit against S4's ward spam. But I think this is a bit of an experimental thing by Alliance because, as most teams would tell you recently, you don't get a lot of time to scrim. It's basically you just play matches all day, every day. So I think they're kind of comfortable in their position. It's like, okay, we're doing very well in the standings. Even if we lose this game, this is still an okay time for us to try something that we necessarily haven't done before and we think might be able to work.
Yeah. We've seen actually Fata do it for Team Dogma.
Yeah.
They got thrashed, but it seems like no, it's not maybe because of the Veno. It's just teams are trying this out.
Yeah.
So now we do see the strength of this the Veno mid. You just keep pushing the lane. Veno could go for the runes whenever he wants, and with the bottle, he's gonna just outreach on a Windrunner who's forced to bottle crow at this point.
When we see Na'Vi play Chen Rubik, they actually roam quite a lot. And maybe Aki's waiting on the correct creeps. Because that's another thing when you play Chen. You kind of rely on luck a bit to get the correct creeps in the jungle.
If you get a Dark Troll Summoner, it can be a little bit easier to gank some lanes, but I think even in that scenario, it's very difficult to kill Funnick in the off lane, and it's very difficult to kill a Windrunner mid. I think that's kind of the reason why they decided to go with a Windrunner mid, just to make their lanes far less susceptible to the Chen getting that kind of pressure that you really want him to get, to allow like a quick tier 1 kill or something like that. Because say for instance you get 1 or 2 ganks on Dendi, and then you're able to kill the tier 1 mid, or you force like the supports to react and then you allow your offlane bat to get a little bit more out of it, then the dynamic of the game changes pretty greatly. But since he doesn't really have anywhere to go, he has to pretty much use his Wild Wing Ripper, or whatever the heck that thing's called, and just farm the woods with it, which is the best choice that he can make, given the situation. So until he gets a better creep, he's kind of stuck doing this.
Yeah, meanwhile, Puppey is not stuck doing anything. He's going to be at least pressuring top. The Eidolons has split. They have the siege unit. They have the Ring of Besaida string turned on. But first split's going to get drawn on the bot lane. They get a tier 1 tower for their effort up top, though. So
I'm really surprised that a Morphling Rubik lane were able to take down a Nyx. Because
on the Midas as well. Like.
Yeah, you should be able to pretty much... Oh, he doesn't have carapace, that's why. I was going to say... I was
only level 2.
You should be able to carapace the waveform damage, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the burst that would take you down, but I guess he's only level 2, so he doesn't have it.
And mid lane here, Dendi being a little bit harassed back. Gale being spammed out. And it's going to be a ward max coming out here from the Venomancer.
Yeah. He's even holding on to his... Wait, did he put it in stats, or is he holding on to it?
No, he's got a...
Got a wild point.
Yeah, he does have a wild point unspent.
Yeah, okay. Because you don't have the mana to poison Nova and Gale anyway. Like,
no.
It's way too
Maybe
much
win
mana to try to do
Aquila,
that.
actually.
Well, he would be able to do it, but he'd be totally
Yeah.
It's poison Nova's 200.
And you're spamming
mana.
wards all day long,
Yeah.
so... I'm a big fan of actually leveling up the Gale, especially if you're playing a solo mid position.
Even 2 levels and it gives you the killing power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Gale cooldown is actually longer than Windrun, and every time you get Gale, you can just Windrun. And Funnick's going to be dropping quite low again here in bottom lane, but this time he will be able to scuttle those little bug legs away. He's not going to die. He's not going to get squished.
He has like... The Dagon looks so ridiculous on his head.
It does. It really does. It's like one of those... what are those really scary fish called that have those like lamps on their head that they use to like...
The really deep water ones?
Yeah. Those things are terrifying. They're like prehistoric fish. Jeez. That's why I stopped watching like Discovery Channel, man. I had like nightmares about those fish.
Dude, like, nature is scary as shit. I'm going to say that out there.
So is going outside.
Nature is scary. Lumi 2014.
The splishy splashing going on down here.
Yeah, Alliance finally decide that they want to try to go for this offlane tower. And Na'Vi don't really have any reaction to it. They've already killed Alliance's offlane tier 1, so I think this is kind of expected. But Alliance do have first blood to their name. I'd say the game is relatively even right now. Maybe outside of the fact that Dendi is still winning mid. I think some of the creeps are obviously just ward kills. But the longer this goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for Dendi to just hold S4 at bay. Because power shot spam is only going to be able to hit the creeps. You're not going to be able to stop the ward spam.
Yep.
And no one is really coming to gank S4, and it's really hard to do that with Enigma, who doesn't have a blink.
I mean, to me, impressive is Dendi being able to keep up his CS, despite the fact that the tower has been hitting his creep wave for such a long time now.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he has phase boots as well.
Good animation, phase boots, a power shot, the constant bottle crowing.
When you see Puppey going for mana boots here, I think like, okay, they want to like go together and push towers.
Yeah.
But they go middle and there's this massive wall of wards. You're not going to be able to push at all. It's actually pretty cool from Alliance. Like they pretty much secure that tower's not taking any damage at all.
So we're thinking Alliance maybe just want to try to delay a bit to make sure Bulldog gets his blink. maybe get Loda, maybe a Lincoln's or something. Maybe he just goes straight E-Blade in this situation. Although I would say that Lincoln's is pretty strong against teams that have so many single target abilities that I think are all worthy of blocking. Like even Lucent Beam is nice to block. It's a 300 damage nuke that you just wouldn't take otherwise.
Poison
Mana
Touch?
Burn, yeah, Mana Burn crushes Morphling really hard later in the game. Because Mana Burning is essentially ruining your survivability, right? It's kind of like being a Medusa, because you can't morph stats if you don't have mana. So,
And I think just having regen to be able to stay out is very underrated.
S4, he doesn't have ulti.
he's going to get a Gale on Puppy, but I think he is definitely going to be going down here. Shackle's going to land, Power Shot to follow it up. Even the Spite Black Hole, Hand of God comes out. EGM actually walks in and they counter-initiate. Here comes Loda with the Waveform. They're going to be able to get the kill on Puppy. Can they get Kuro? He does have a point in the Grave if he wants to try to use it. I think he could just Grave TP if he has to. There's the Grave, just going to casually walk out. There is a Replicate, but it gets stunned along with Loda and EGM. And the rest of Na'Vi is going to be able to retreat.
Yeah, that's a lot of commitment trying to defend S4. Maybe they thought they could transition off to a push, but they're not going to get anything beyond that first Enigma kill. Meanwhile, if you look at the jungle, it's going to be Havos free farming. He didn't have to join the fight. It's going to be a quick Yasha build as well as a Morbid Mask. So that's interesting. Normally upgrade it to a Helm just to get your jungle stack.
They've already warded the
They
jungle.
did. They already did, yeah.
The Ancients.
Alliance on top of it.
I actually like the fact that he's going a bit greedy here. Because if he saw that Loda went for a Midas, actually might have to hold on. Fresh blink on Bulldog here. They're looking for Dendi, but they're not going to get him. So as far as the Yasha Morbid Mask build, typically you would say, oh yeah, it would be much better to buy a BKB. But if they don't plan on pushing right away, there's not really a whole lot of point to buying it unless they think that Alliance are going to start going hyper-aggressive, which Bulldog is their only initiation here. He's going to find initiation right here in mid. Dendi is going to get caught out by the lasso. Teleport reaction coming in. It's going to be Kuro. Can he get the Grave off in time? He gets the heal and the Grave. Dendi's still standing strong for the time being, but I don't think it's going to be for much longer. He's getting denied. Puppy denies him with the creeps. What a player.
And here comes Havos. Wait, did Puppy deny or?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had creeps there, man.
I see.
Creep deny. That was sick.
Couple of mid kills traded for here and there. Those army of wards just constantly being annoying. The glaive, by the way, they don't bounce to the other wards, I don't think. They bounce off of them, though.
I thought they acted like structures, and don't they bounce between structures?
Oh, I guess they just don't target them with low priority, I suppose. Or I guess you don't even control how the...
I don't think anybody knows how that works. Yeah, we are all guessing. Like, we don't actually have any idea. I mean, there's so many nuances in the game. It's like, who actually just knows off the top of their head? It's like, oh yeah, they totally bounce the Plague Wards. I mean, I would think that they would.
They should.
It's so weird the way we've all played so much Dota and we still don't understand like most.
We're all still ass.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
just like, it's like we're so bad. That's why it's a great game, man.
Yeah, there's always something
What's
to learn.
that game where they said like a minute to learn, a lifetime to master? Although this game's like a really long time to learn, and then like an even longer time to master.
Yeah.
Yeah, chess is like that, right? That's
Chess doesn't take a minute.
Really nice entry placement here by Ake. Replicate going to be popped as well.
Chess is so easy.
It'd take more than a
The
minute
bishop
to learn
going
chess.
diagonal, the horse going in elf shape.
Just stick to checkers, man.
And then the castle goes up and down.
I'm too sick. The castle goes up and down. It's called a rook, man.
Difference.
2 minutes to learn. Doesn't even know the names.
Literally
of
learned it
pieces.
in 30 seconds. And then I found out that apparently by your pawns going across is OP.
Yeah, you can get whatever piece you want.
It's like there's a lot of side note.
They try their hardest.
So Bulldog got like a 10-minute blink dagger on the offlane against like Dazzle Luna. This is like really impressive, no?
Well, Dazzle Luna doesn't have a whole lot of kill potential on him, so he can, like, Bat Rider offlane when you're Radiant, you can go to the side camp and you can mess with it with Firefly, you can mess with pulls. So in some cases, it might just be better for him to not even ward the camp at all because he can contest things so easily. Because if Luna's in lane and Kuro's pulling, then okay, what's a solo Dazzle going to do to you when you're Fireflyed, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what he did. He did that, I think, 3 or 4 times, in fact.
So I think that given the fact that he was able to get so much out of it as offlane, it puts Alliance in a spot where they can actually take fights, assuming Na'Vi want to be applying pressure. So I think that both teams are actually pretty even still. Alliance have, I would say, a kill lead because there was 1 kill that was denied in mid when Dendi got graved, but it's still like exceptionally close.
Yeah, they got the first blood as well.
Yeah.
So I think they think that maybe Na'Vi is just relying on it, saying, hey, they have a Venom solo mid. That hero just doesn't really scale that well. unless we're talking about him being able to get into like ultra late game utility item like Acceptor Hexes and Pipes for the team. But
Looks like he's going to go for a Blink Dagger.
huh.
That's what.
I hope this is a Midas instead.
Well, I don't necessarily hate Blink, to be honest, because if an engagement happens, Na'Vi are the kind of a lineup that are going to typically be clumped up, right? I mean, that's kind of a walk into people and push all puppy. He's living life on the edge. He just doesn't know it. They're even going for Roshan right now. Havos is only at about 50% life. There's a smoke on the high ground. Alliance looking to try to get a better position, but I think the Firefly is going to be wearing off soon.
I mean, as long as Puppy doesn't get killed from the get-go, he's got the mech, and that's why they could play as aggressive as they're doing right now. Unfortunately, sensing that a lot of people is missing, that's where the Venomancer mid comes in. They've been constantly on the other side of the river, and that tier 1 is pressured so much. The Radiant tier 1's been up, so if a long fight breaks out, Alliance could be reviving and TPing back to the tier 1 to contest this Roshan.
That baby got sent home. Look at that Shackle.
This is one of the benefits, though, to going the build that Havos went for is normally, if you rush for a BKB, your damage isn't going to be as high as it would be right now. Like, he would actually have BKB at this point in the game if he didn't go for the Yasha and the Morbid Mask, but just doing the extra damage with the item build that he did allows them to be able to kill this faster, which means that Loda can't get to tier 2, and obviously their tier 1 is going to be a little bit pressured, but they're going to get Roshan for free.
Yeah.
No contention at all from Alliance. And having an Aegis on a hero like Luna who does this much damage this early is huge.
Yeah, I think this is where having Windrunner on your team is just so good, and I think some of the forgotten factor where we saw Windrunner all the time, just having Power Shot, being able to scout so frequently, it's a decent nuke at this stage of the game. We saw Batrider trying to go in, got harassed down to half HP. Normally, you can't actually do that early Roshan against a Batrider who has a blink already,
Yeah.
but they were able to just clean it up. Also,
S4
thanks to the
is
mech.
Gone for a 4-staff instead of a Blink Dagger.
Well, it's the kind of get in there item, right?
Yeah.
And I
Or-
think he
or
kind of
get
needs
out.
the mana, too. I mean,
Or,
Venomancer has... I mean, 32 wins not that bad, but... I mean, he's a banana, right? He's
He
not
needs
that
it for his
smart.
ult.
Yeah.
He needs it for his ult. That
Yeah.
ult costs a ton. But I think it's mostly also for the shackle shot. Like, if somebody gets shackled to a creep or something, you get them out of there.
And since Na'Vi really only have, like, 2 disables, if you're able to force staff one of the disables, then it makes it pretty difficult to actually follow it up. Well, I guess technically they have 3, but
Can you 4-staff people out of Black Hole? I don't think you can.
no,
No.
they don't move.
Like Chronosphere.
Man,
You used to be able to force that people in Chrono. They
Yeah.
changed it.
it was a bit silly, though,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Hey, here's
It's
a
like,
big
I stopped
ultimate.
time, but you can still move. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
But you could pick them up and move them. If you could.
Yeah, you could lift somebody that's in the Chronosphere.
Or if you had rope tied on them, you could pull them.
Although I have seen people get flame breaked out of Chronospheres before. And black holes, too, actually. I'm pretty sure you can do that.
All right, they're going to get this tier 1 tower, but here comes multiple TPs. It's going to
Nice
be a
deny.
Nyx Assassin. The Stomp's going to be there. Tower denied. Shackle shot? They're going to get a Centaur kill, I guess.
It was a nice attempt. I think he was
send
trying
back.
to go for S4 right there, but
Literally
quite
for the
good.
past 15 minutes, there's ward on this side of the ramp.
I think I've been noticing is Na'Vi are kind of clumping up mid, and Alliance only have 2 players there
Yep.
most of the time.
And they had a Morphling that's just constantly going everywhere, and
Yeah,
I think that's the hyper carry that can take advantage of this game state. Like, he pushes so fast by himself, and it's so hard to just gank him because he has Replicate, because he has Strength Morph. And that Lincoln Sphere, it's going to be up very, very soon. So, minus Lincoln before 20 minutes, that's pretty good.
not bad at all. And let's not also forget, like you guys brought it up just a second ago, but the fact that S4 is able to pretty much just sit in his lane and do whatever he wants and consistently keep pressure on mid means that Na'Vi can never actually go up to the tower to kill it unless S4 is already dead.
Yeah.
Because the Plague Wards need to be down, pretty much, to safely be able to say, okay, well, we're going to mount a 5-man push, take like 2 minutes to kill all these stupid wards, and then we can push.
Yeah.
But by then, it's going to be plenty of time for Alliance to be able to react, even without the use of TPs, because Na'Vi don't have any guaranteed initiation. They don't have a blink hero right now.
Nope.
I mean, Enigma doesn't have a blink, Kuro doesn't have a blink, although I'm sure he's probably going for one. He just doesn't have it yet. So they don't have any guaranteed method of initiation to say, okay, we're starting the fight right now on our terms.
Yeah, Funnick is very close to his blink, 1650.
EGM's closer though. He's only like a 200 gold away.
That's true. Those towers definitely help out. Obviously, Na'Vi did get that Roshan, so that's pretty big for them.
I don't understand where EGM gets all this money.
What happened was when Na'Vi were doing Roche, EGM was just sitting top farming.
Well, there's that too, and EGM never even know where the wards is in his shop, so...
No, well, it's hard to find them. when Blink Dagger's on the right.
There's a
wards are on the far
freaking
left.
search
It is.
bar
Like he,
on the in the
yeah,
shop.
but you don't spell Observer Ward with BLINK. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Midas. They're kind of different.
what if he goes Midas?
Mid lane here, it's going to be a Blink Lasso onto Havos. He's got the Aegis, but if you drag him into the tier 1 tower, well, he's going to be right there. A Centaur Stomp waiting.
Puppy's coming.
They have a Telekinesis lift as well. They do lift him up. No, they lift the wrong one. Here comes Puppy. I think the nuke damage will be enough. The mech gets activated. They got the Grave as well, so Havos will barely survive.
Oh,
no,
no!
the Lucem being stolen here by EGM. That's going to give him the Blink. 40 seconds dead for Luna, and that's going to give him the push that they need. Meanwhile, on the top lane here, if you look at Loda, got a tier 1, lasted onto his name. Man, Alliance.
That
Yeah.
cast point on Rubik Lucent Beam actually just got him killed.
Bot lane though, multiple TPs are coming in. They're going to get the Gale on Funnick. He's going to go Invis. Please don't see me. And he's going to get the stun up. No TP though. Nice flame break. Tier 1 tower's also going to get denied. Wow, Alliance is playing really well.
Brutal efficiency, man. Like everywhere they go, they're able to get something. And I think this is just the difference between having a hero who can actually force a fight and having a team who kind of has to walk up to a tower.
Yep.
I mean, the weaknesses of those types of lineups is either other lineups that are tanky or a lineup that can initiate in you before you can get there, right? And that's pretty much exactly what happened. I will say that Havost was a bit optimistic with his positioning because he didn't have a tier 1. Like, he didn't have anyone even near him when he got Lasso initiated on mid, so...
Puppy was at the large camp farming. Like, he
Yeah.
was the closest.
Actually, I think Andy, you brought up a great point about the power of initiation. I think that's also why we don't see offlane winner too much. Like, if you look at the current list of common offlane heroes, Clockwork, Nyx Assassin, Centaur, Bat Rider, one common theme is that they all initiate really, really well.
Nyx as well.
Yeah, yeah. So where does Windrunner fit in this? She really doesn't. Shackle Shot, yeah, you can initiate a team fight if you do hit it, but it's just so unreliable. So we see the power of Bat, and you know, Windrunner, as a traditional offlane, is not keeping up. Speaking of the Windrunner, she is farming extremely well, though. Gonna be going towards that Hex. But, you know, Hex... There's 4 staff on the other side, I want to say. 4 staff sent back. There's ways to deal with the Hex.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried right now for Na'Vi. Havos is still farming, like, pretty well, but Loda's actually starting to pull ahead now because that one death obviously hurt him. The longer that Loda's able to farm because he has a Midas and Havos doesn't, the gap is only going to get bigger.
Yep.
Even though you could say with Glaives that, sure, he probably kills creeps a little bit faster, but I think in terms of, like, a really, really late game, I would probably rather have a Morphling than a Luna carry, just because the Morphling brings that if I go Ethereal Blade, I can instantly kill a hero and force a 4v5 engagement. I think that's a little bit stronger than being able to just say, if I get to freely auto-attack for like 5 or 6 seconds, I could win us a fight.
Yeah.
I also think that, you know, Loda's been farming much better because his team allows him to do so.
Oh, middle. S4, he's going to get stunned. Immediate Force Staff. EGM, he's going to get Force Staffed out as well. And the mech, he's still going to be alive. The Hand of God comes out from Ake, and he gets sent home. Talk about freaking support, man.
And they want to fight this because EGM's right back. He's got the Blink Dagger as well. The slow's going to come back in. The Blasto onto Havos. Immediate weave as well as Grave onto him. He's going to be very slow. Force Step into the enemy team. Not sure if that's a miscue one. Flame Break's going to clean him out. Kuroki being caught out on the side. A couple more Napalm's going to slow him down. They have Blink and Force Staff still up. Impale hitting on a lot. And I think Kuroki's going to survive. No, Loda comes in and he's going to clean up. Like, Raid My Life.
EGM's on the other side of him.
EGM soloing Demonic Conversion. Blink 4 here from Ammo Bulldog. Right now, Navi's getting overran. First 2-man Shackle Shot of the game, but there's just no follow-up.
Oh.
These Force Staffs just doing absolute work on the side of Alliance. Like, Force Staff immediately as soon as they went in, then another Force Staff, and it's like, what do we do at that point? Because we just tried to go, and we don't have any way of catching you. Like, if Puppy had a Blink, maybe, they would have been able to just go for a Black Hole. I'm actually surprised they didn't, because I think he would have been able to catch 2 where he was. Maybe not 2.
EGM was standing like really far away, looking at basically Puppy saying like, "Go on, Black Hole, I dare you." So I think he would have stolen it like instantly.
Yeah, the Black Hole being stolen is a danger. The Flame Break easily canceling is another one. So, as well, you don't want to know where that Morphling is. That does strike from long range. That's an easy cancel as well.
Yeah.
But back to your point about the Luna being a better carry. I think the Morphling being a better carry. I think the Luna has to constantly worry about Bat Rider ganking him, just back to the point of initiation, whereas the Morphling has a Lincoln Sphere, so he's not worried about anything at all. So I feel that Morphling could just farm a lot more relentlessly than the Luna can.
Hilarious. EGM's just chilling in the jungle with Demonic Conversion farming. He's like, right, I'm Enigma now, lads. He's going for Aghanims as well. If he gets
is filthy rich
Yeah.
for a support player, man. He actually has like comparable farm to the cores on Na'Vi, which is a little silly. I mean, he has 62 CS as like a hard support.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say hard support, because EGM actually never plays hard support.
light support.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Light
S4
support.
is just
That's
going to
good.
get a tier 2 free top. Nobody defending this.
I mean, really, what are they going to do? They don't have any way of initiating on him unless Funnick's there.
He has Aghanims now if he chooses to
I mean,
buy it.
Yeah.
the thing is, Funnick's effectiveness has not been felt at all this game. Gave
Yeah,
up
I
first
mean-
blood, haven't set up any gank. He's got the blink, but the blink hasn't done much for him.
That's the problem, though, is that Nyx is a hero who I think he's actually better defensively than he is aggressively, because he's countered by sentries like really hard. You just place a sentry whenever you push a tower, and unless he has a blink dagger, then he's not initiating, right? And as an offlaner, realistically, you're not going to have your blink very quickly, especially since he's the one who got first blooded. So he's already behind. Getting a blink even before the 20-minute mark, I'd say, is pretty impressive considering the start that he had.
Yep.
But now, if you blink in with just an Impale and you can't get your Vendetta hit off, then you don't have any damage. And Havosk went for Manta and BKB, which means that he doesn't necessarily right-click that hard. So against a team with a Morphling, a Mech, and a Chen heal, even if they get Black Hold, I don't really think they're going to be able to kill the Morphling.
Yeah, and also his under level is just not helping him out. At this point in the game, you want to have a very high rank mana burn in case when they're sieging your base, you can at least poke out, keep on mana burning one of the Alliance heroes and say, hey, back off. But he had to level up Spike Carapace.
You think 4 staffs kind of counter Nyx as well? Like, counter most heroes, but Nyx especially, because you can't Vendetta then stun. He has to, like, blink stun. And it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do now, especially if you're trying to go for like a really long range stun.
Yeah.
Because there's like a travel time on it, so you actually have time to just move. But yeah, not a great spot. Dendy's going to have his Hex kind of soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually go Blink, just so they have a hero who has like guaranteed, okay, bam, we start the fight like right now, and we can just Hex a hero and maybe try to get a kill. And because of the fact that they have Kuro and they have a max rank Shallow Grave, they can actually use it to on whatever blink initiator they want, right? So they can keep him alive for at least the foreseeable future in the engagement. But I still got to hand it to Alliance, man. I was really wondering what the Venomancer mid was supposed to do, but I mean, just keeping the tier 1 alive is what it's supposed to do, really.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's still standing is just an ode to the fact that Na'Vi could never mount a push.
He's got that Axe Scepter, so once you get to level 16, we're looking at an ultimate that does something in the rank of like over 1,500
Billion.
AoE. 1,500 billion, about that. In
At
AoE.
least.
Pretty scary.
Over 15 trillion damage.
Okay, you're in a 5v5 fight, and you're Dendy. Who do you Hex? Who's like the main, before anyone casts any spells, who's the main?
I think you would Hex S4 or you would Hex Bulldog. I mean, the thing is, it would be nice to get the Chen too. Shackle's going to land on Bulldog, but no one's even close to being able to follow that up. But there's actually so many good targets.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I was thinking.
EGM is actually a Hex target too. Like Rubik, Venomancer, and Bat.
They're baiting
And
the
Chen,
Volts
actually. Like,
so hard.
I think it really depends. If S4 gets his ult off, don't Hex him. If the Chen mechs and Hands of God, or Hand of Gods, don't Hex him. And then I guess if the Bat Rider lassos, don't Hex him.
Well, no, I think the best scenario for them is the Bat blinks in and lasso somebody, and you Hex him before he turns around 4-staff. Like, if you have that, that's a pretty reasonable...
Yeah, but they have another 4-staff.
That's
and he
true.
can turn around in Hex. So, I mean, it's not ideal, but I think hexing for preventative measures is only good if you have a method of blink initiation. So I think we're maybe like theory crafting a bit too soon about it because we don't know if he's going blink or not. I think that's like the point where you could start saying, okay, which one should he hex?
Yeah, right now, Enigma close to his blink, or sorry, his BKB, which is gonna be a big deal because there is only one spell to cancel it. I guess two, because I guess Rubik could steal the black hole and black hole him to cancel the black hole.
That would be next level.
I mean,
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy to do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's just channeling.
Because you got to blink, yeah.
Yeah.
And nearly Ags. When he has Ags, I don't
But I
think.
mean, really, how often do you see that? Like, how often do you see a black hole get stolen and you use the black hole to cancel the other guy's black hole?
I mean, if EGM's probably gonna do it this game. Here
Probably.
comes initiation. Not sure the panic BKB, because
Maybe he meant to Manta?
well, the thing is, even He could still get lasso, but he dies much slower when he has BKB on. So maybe it's more like, hey, I'm gonna BKB so my team gets here. But that's gonna give 60 seconds for
Roshan.
for Lions to do what they want to do
Yeah, and trying to engage into a Venomancer around the pit.
without BKB.
With an Ags as
Yeah,
well.
that ulti
coming
is
in.
gonna hurt.
Coming
Oh,
in.
Havos, he's going into the low ground. He's actually leading the charge. EGM standing on the high ground with Blink. He's going to get
Echo?
spotted, though. Blink gets canceled. Havos wanted to try to eclipse, but he can't. Black Hole actually going to only hit on Loader right now. He's just so unbelievably tanky, just spamming that convert strength. Eventually, we are going to see a lasso on Havos. He gets pulled up to the high ground by Bulldog, and now he's stuck. He has no way to help his team. Puppy, though, going to be dropping the Test of Faith from Ake. There's an Adaptive Strike. Actually puts Kuro on the high ground, and he's actually stuck. He can't go anywhere. There's going to be one TP out. Actually, Dendi drops instead. Havos still just sitting up here going, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And Eclipse gets stolen as well by EGM. Havos actually kills Bulldog in the meantime. There's the Ethereal Blade.
Oh my god.
Okay.
S4 picks up the double kill.
Havos got stuck on that cliff for literally like 10 seconds, and EGM stood next to him. He did not cast a Lucent Beam, and as a result, EGM stole a level 3 Eclipse.
Maybe he thought he could TP away.
There was no TP on him.
Okay.
And his Manta cooldown, last time I checked, was 40 seconds. So he just literally stood there and thought about life and did not think about using a Lucent Beam.
That felt so forced. Like, Na'Vi were like, okay, we need to fight now.
Well, it's kind of gotten to that point, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Because if you're Na'Vi, the Morphling is out farming your Luna. Like, not by a CS by a huge margin, but again, he's had Midas for, what, 25 minutes? And they've had map control for quite a while. They've taken all your safe lane towers. They've taken the mid towers and the bottom towers. You don't have anything left standing on the map. They still have a tier 1 middle lane. Like, you have pretty much all the map control in the world right now. You have a Blink Initiator who is pretty, I would say, in terms of execution, he's much easier to Blink Initiate than a Nyx is,
Yeah.
right? And you have Mask of Madness Force Staff on him as well, so you can pull people even farther out of his position. And that's pretty much what he did to Havos during that fight. So, props to Bulldog for the lasso. That was, like, really nicely done.
So my question is, if you steal a Black Hole with Acceptor BKB, or sorry, with Acceptor on Rubik, do you get the Midnight Pulse?
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Do you get Enigma's current rank of Midnight Pulse? Is that how it works? Okay.
Ridiculous if you get them.
Yeah,
Or
man,
with the
he's gonna get him.
Luna Eclipse ulti with
He's-
Ags.
He's gonna get it.
Or the Weave. Oh my
It
god.
increases the number of times he can be hit by the beams
Yeah.
as well.
Uh-oh,
does,
Puppy, he's gonna have to force his BKB.
Got the Grave, man. He's doing okay. Loda just is out for blood, though. He does not care. He has Adaptive Strike Stoon. There's going to be an Eclipse popped as well. It's actually the Eclipse coming out from EGM. He even steals Impale and hits on 2. What a player, EGM! Just stealing all the right spells at the right time, and Funnick and Kuro both just die.
And
It's
he has
13 to 2, man.
Ags now as well. This is like super Rubik time.
This is like... This is impressive, honestly. Like, people were saying, yeah, Alliance looked a little bit shaky. This doesn't look that shaky to me, man.
Ivana did it solid, like two
Yeah.
deaths on. And
I
one
would-
is a deny. Oh, no, that
I
was-
would say that their laning was a bit unconventional, but it did what it was supposed to do. It bought time for Loda. There was pretty much no pressure on him the whole game. Oh, we're going to see a Hex. He's going to get forced out of the base,
Defensive
though.
Force Staff,
Yeah, they get the tier 3. And there's no real skin off their nose. They're not going to lose anything for it. EGM's actually going to throw out a stun on the Havos, but I don't think they have Lasso just yet. They're still waiting on Bulldog.
Yeah, they're waiting for the shotgun cooldown as well. It's going to be up in 5 seconds. Like, if you get shot down, proceed to have a 5v4, even if you don't kill them. Here comes
The Veiled.
the Veil Shotgun. All Force Staff into an Acceptor ult. Here comes the BKB from Havos. The weave hits on everybody. I think it's going to be retreat time. The Brainomancer, though, doing the deeps overtime. Where's the Black Hole? There is no Black Hole. The lasso goes on Puppy, and Puppy is getting right-click down. Grave into a Force Staff back into the base. And here comes Admiral Bulldog. He's going to kill you in the base. Yeah, it's not looking good. Actually, Puppy's going to survive thanks to the Earn Shackle shot coming out from afar as well. But there's just no hope because now on the other side of the base, Alliance coming in. Yeah,
He's gonna
Black
steal it.
Hole.
Yeah, he got Black Hole.
But
Black
they-
Hole stolen?
Yeah.
All right.
They're not doing a whole lot of damage. Loda
Nope.
doesn't even die once.
Woo!
EGM,
Oh,
he's
yeah!
got the Black Hole on 4. It gets canceled by a Shackle and a triple stun coming out from Funnick. Just call it a Ravage, man. Call it what it is. Loda's just converting agility because maybe he thinks he's going to die.
Mana. He's out of
But-
everything. He's got Aegis. He's got Aegis.
Yeah, he's
Power
fine.
shot. Woo!
What a snipe. But yeah, they're going to pop the Aegis. EGM went for the huge play there. Dendi had enough mana for the Shackle, though. They're going to get another one. Loda's going to get hexed after the fact. Oh, no, Havos.
Oh, great. That's fine. That's fine.
I think he's still dead no matter what, though.
Survive to the Manta, deny attack. What a player coming out from Navi. First, the Puppy deny, now the Dendi deny. Manta Sao is gonna, well, the Lincoln's gonna block it. Here comes a
GG.
Rax.
And I gotta say, Alliance looked to be, like the communication was really good. Like every single time they went for any engagement, especially when they picked off Favos after Navi got the Roshan, that I think is when the game really took a bad turn for Navi, because that Aegis was supposed to give them at least like a tier 1, you know? But it didn't give them anything. It was just Havos died for free, and then Alliance continued just having a total free-farmed Morphling, and were just able to do basically whatever they wanted. And Havos still farmed well. Like, I'm not saying his CS was poor or anything, but he didn't have, I think, any impact on the game, even though he went for an item build that I would say, like going to Yasha, Morbid Mass for trying to get the farm up a little bit faster is kind of like the same thing as going Midas, you know, because you're greedy in the sense that you could be picked off quite easily. But I think the mixture of like Bulldog being able to get so much out of his lane and the fact that they never were able to kill the tier 1 mid, like that's a really big deal, man. That being able to kill that tower.
Do you want to say outdraft for Navi? It seems like the S4 versus Dendi matchup mid, the Windrunner.
Windrunner did really well. Dendi did really well in mid.
I mean, yeah, sure, got the farm, Force Staff and Hex, but it's not a W.
Yeah, I think trading farm against a hero who doesn't necessarily need the farm as much as you do doesn't mean you win the lane. It doesn't mean you lose either, but Venomancer did his job.
Yeah.
Like his job was to make sure that that lane stayed safe, because that way your jungle stays safe. You can't very easily go through there without being spotted. And if you just walk bottom, there's a tier 1 bottom too. So they can just teleport, react, and counter gank whenever they need to. But they didn't really even need to, because Puppy spent most of his time just kind of hovering around mid, like trying to either push or just try to gank. And it didn't really seem like Navi could ever really do anything. I think another issue is that Navi had a team where the only mech carrier basically outside of Dendi was Puppy. And since Dendi didn't go mech, Puppy couldn't go blink. And I really think they could have used the blink that game, just to be able to force like something, you know? But yeah, it was rough. Very well played by Alliance though. Well warded, you could say.
That's going to be doing it for this El Clasico. Not exactly the classic, 50-minute hype game that we're looking for, but it was very well played and very impressive for Alliance. Coming up next, we have
VP versus
the Russian Clasico. We're calling everything Clasico today. VP versus Empire. And Empire, let's see if they could climb to number 1. Even if they win their match today, they'll still be at number 2. But we'll see that game coming up next, and we'll take a short break.